of the Crafty Gemini, and in this video tutorial I'm sharing with you 7 tips that are definitely going to come in handy when you're working on your zippered projects. In this video, we're talking about your number 3 all-purpose craft zippers and the number 4.5 handbag zippers. As we get into the tips I'll be covering, I'm also going to share with you a variety of projects so you can see the zippers that I'm talking about in actual application. I think it's important to have some background knowledge and to go into a new zippered project knowing already how the finished project is going to look and what is the purpose of one or the other of the 2 different zippers I'm talking about. So you'll see some applications where I use the number 3 all-purpose craft zippers and then also the handbag zippers, and I think that is definitely going to help you. Now, if you like any of the projects that I show you in this video, there will be a little letter I on the top right-hand corner of the video player that you can click on that will have more information on the pattern, the video course, or wherever you can find more information on that project. They're super cute and functional, so I know a ton of you are going to be asking me questions on what pattern it is and where you can get it. So all that information will be there in the little letter I that you can click on, and I'll also remember to put the links for you in the description box below the video. Now let's jump into my 7 tips on how to work with zippers. Tip number 1, it's important to know what type and what size zipper you're going to be working with for your specific projects. I find that it's helpful to have background knowledge on maybe more of the more popular types and kinds of zippers you can find, so you kind of already have an idea of how they will work in application, right? Depending on the type of project. Now here I have a variety of different zippers. You can see they come in different lengths and they also come in different sizes. And the width of the zipper tape here can be different. The teeth on each zipper can be different as well. We have some plastic ones. Here we have some heavy duty plastic ones, which would be more for jackets or really heavy duty duffel bags and things. And then here I have a popular one that you're probably familiar with in some of your clothes, and that is a zipper that has metal teeth. The zippers I'm going to be talking about in this video are going to be your plastic or nylon type of zippers that are often used for all different kinds of little crafty projects. So you can use these in garments, although it's probably not the go-to. So I'm going to be talking about them and how I use them in different little pouches, wallets, handbags, and organizer type of projects. Now, I would say that the most readily available zippers are the number 3 zippers. They're your regular craft zippers that you can often find in big bundles of assorted colors, even online. And then these are getting to be even more popular these days. These are the number 4.5s. These are your wider handbag zippers. And I'll place this number 3 over it so you can see how much wider the zipper tape is, which can come in handy for a variety of reasons, and we'll get into that. Another thing is that these 4.5 handbag zippers tend to have a larger zipper pull, which is easier to grab and hold, especially if you're working on a larger organizer, wallet, or handbag. Whereas the smaller number 3 zippers just have a regular zipper pull. Now, here are the different options so you can see the zipper pulls by themselves and know that they definitely are different. They're different sizes, and I have these loose because I often like to actually zip this off of here by cutting it and taking the pull off, and then I will swap out a different color to add a little pop of color in my zippers, which would look super cute like that. Tip number 2, when you have a pattern that you're following and it tells you you need a specific length zipper, so let's say the pattern calls for a 10-inch zipper and you're looking through your stash or you're going to the fabric store and you need to figure out what the length is, I don't want you to make this mistake. A lot of times people think that if they measure end to end and it's the length that the pattern calls for, then it will be enough. Zippers are actually measured from metal stop to metal stop. So if you look right here, this little metal stop is what stops the zipper pull from flying completely off. So you want to measure from that metal stop to these little metal stops on this end. So there's always going to be a little added extra there. So I don't want you to get confused because you may end up with a shorter zipper than you need if you're not measuring from metal stop to metal stop. Tip number 3. I'm going to show you some examples to help you determine how to figure out whether you need a number 3 zipper or the chunkier handbag zipper, the 4.5. So here's my little over-under pouch, and it's quite small. So for this, I chose to go with the number 3 zipper because there really is no need for me to use a chunkier one, especially since it's more expensive. I'd rather save them for my handbags. So for a little pouch like this, the number 3 zipper would come in handy. Now here I have a wallet And this, because it's a zip around wallet like this, it can definitely get stuffed with a bunch of things inside. So because I want to give myself the added width of the wider 4.5 handbag zipper, I chose to use a handbag zipper in this wallet. Now on my road trip organizer, it's smaller, so I don't have to use the handbag zipper up here because it doesn't need to be that heavy duty. That's one of the other reasons we choose handbag zippers for some of our projects. You'll see that on my larger project bag here, it is bigger, and I can definitely add bigger projects in here. I often will put an entire quilt in here that needs to have the binding hand sewn on, and then just take it with me. So for this, you can see that I used a handbag zipper, and then I also used one. These are some specialty ones that have double zipper pulls on them. So instead of just one opening in one direction, I have two that I can open like this. Now inside, again, a smaller pocket. So for this one, I just use a regular number 3 zipper. Now I sewed it so narrow to the sides that that's why you see some more of the zipper tape exposed. Whether or not you do that in your projects will be based on the project pattern directions or your style. I know a lot of people don't like to see zipper tape, so they like to sew really, really close to the zipper teeth, but I like it, especially when I'm using a pop of color for the zipper. Now for this type of an organizer, where the zipper is actually the handle as well, okay, on either side, you're definitely going to want to go with something wider. Again, the handbag zipper, and very handy with the 2 large size zipper pulls so that it can be opened this way. You can see that if you're adding a ton of stuff in here, you're definitely going to want that sturdier, wider zipper there to give you space to bind, okay, the zipper tape itself, and then also to open up nice and wide for you. So inside, there's no need to use the handbag zippers for these smaller zippered compartments. So for these inside, we tend to go with the number 3 regular zippers, okay? So you can see that in a variety of projects, you'll have a combination of use for the 2 different types of zippers, the smaller number 3 ones, and then also the 4.5 handbag zippers. Now, one of the reasons these types of zippers are super handy in a variety of little pouch, wallet, and bag projects is because you can cut through the plastic teeth super easily. So you can cut both with a rotary cutter, right where you need to, or you can also cut with some sharp, nice, heavy-duty scissors, okay? So either way will get you to cut through it. Now, depending on the project and how you're finishing off the ends of the zipper, there's a few different things that you can do because you don't want to run the risk of sewing over the metal stops. Remember, we have a stop here and here. So what I like to do sometimes is to take some little jewelry pliers and I will actually pry off the metal stop. And I just kind of pull it back off of one side. It's almost like a staple of some kind. Okay, so there we've removed it, and then it's out of your way. So now whether you're cutting it off, finishing it off with a zip tab, or whatever you're going to do with it, you know that you're not going to run the risk of sewing over metal. And the ones on this side, you can see that you see it better from this side. These are a little harder to take out because they're smaller, and they're really, really like clamping down on the zipper tape. So if you're going to go that route, just make sure to take your time. And then one thing that you do want to do before you start getting rid of the metal stops is to actually create your own. Because what's going to happen if I remove this one and I cut here and then the pattern says open your zipper and you're going to go like this and you're going to lose your zipper pull and then you're going to think that it's ruined. It's not ruined, but better to save yourself the headache of completely removing it if you didn't really want to. So before you go on and chop off the part that has a stop on it, create your own. And so this is my next tip. What I do is I just set my machine to a straight stitch, and I like to shorten the stitch length a little bit to about a 2.0 or even a little less is fine. And then I'm going to start on the top side of the zipper teeth, and then I will just stitch forward. And sometimes it helps if you kind of straddle your fingers. It's a little close. Just keep your fingers out of the way. So you come over the zipper teeth, and you can stitch over them. They're plastic. It's okay. And then I reverse, and I go forward, and I reverse, and forward, and reverse. And when you do that several times back and forth like that, the buildup of the thread right there is what's going to create a stop. So you'll see, now I can cut away beyond it, get rid of the metal stop, okay? And then when I open my zipper, it doesn't fly off. The zipper pull will stay right in place because my thread buildup is stopping it. Now for my next tip, what do you do if you do pull off the zipper pull and it comes flying off the end, or if you want to change out the color to something that's going to add a little more pop? So let's change it to this orange one. So say I did this by mistake or on purpose. Boom, it's gone. Now if when the pull came off, it's closed, all you're going to do is pull on this to open up the zipper tape, okay? I'm going to open it all the way to the stop. And now we want to put this guy on here. So the first thing we need to do is trim this off a little bit because I can see that it's fraying already and I need to make my life a little bit easier. Once you have a clean start there, I'm going to turn this around because I'm right-handed. So the way I do it is open up here, the side that has the larger openings, okay? Not this side, but the one with the openings for the zipper teeth, and place that so that the zipper teeth are starting to go in the front. And I kind of hold it flat on the table and just insert both of them a little bit. With my right hand, I'm going to cinch this shut so it has an easier path to go to, okay? And you can even put a pin there if you wanted to. Grab a pin and pin it through both layers, just something like that to help hold it for you. Okay, and once you pull it hard enough, it doesn't matter if it's off here. You can remove the pin, hold your tape, and the zipper has been pinched shut, okay? If it does come on uneven like this, it means that it's also going to be uneven on the other end. So you may need to create another stop, clean it off, okay, so that it lies flat for you instead of having a buckle or a pucker there. But you can see that that's all it takes to put back on a zipper pull if you yank it off by mistake, or if you want to change the color of the zipper pull on any of your zippers. And now for my last tip, it's on how to hold your zipper in position for sewing it to your project. The most discouraging thing is when you sew a zipper, and I find that this is probably why a lot of people stay away from sewing zippers, is that they can't get a straight line. And if you can't sew a straight line, regardless of however many layers the project calls for, then your zipper on this side is going to be super wavy and wonky. Because remember, this zipper tape is what needs to be sewn to whatever other fabrics. So if on this side, my seam allowance is up here, and on this side, the seam allowance is closer, and you're kind of sewing a wavy seam allowance, it's going to be super crooked. And even when you go to open the zipper, it's not going to be a straight line. So you have to really, really practice sewing straight before you move on to sewing with zippers, because that is the most important thing when you're working with these kinds of zippers. Assuming that it's just being sewn to a straight edge, okay? That's the easiest application, but it needs to be straight and it needs to be exact with however many layers. So here's an example. You have a zipper tape. The project might call for you to place the zipper with the zipper teeth side face down, and the zipper tape edge needs to match up with your fabric edge. This cannot be some on it, some off, because again, that's going to guarantee that you're going to sew a crooked seam if everything is not straight. So it'll tell you something like that. Then you'll have like another fabric, maybe some interfacing, and then this needs to be placed on top. So now we have 3 layers that need to be lined up perfectly so that we can get a consistent seam allowance. Because the fabric might be lined up straight, but if my zipper is tucked in even a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch in there, the seam there is going to be different than it will be here if the zipper is flush with the fabric edges. Does that make sense? Because I have this much off, so my stitching is going to be that much off. So there's a few different things that you can do to hold your zipper exactly in place of where you need it to be. First is to place pins. Now you can choose to pin the zipper first and then place the fabric on top. That's one way. So if you did it like that, let me put another one here so you can actually see how it would really happen. So if I did that, then I had to come back and put this fabric on top. What I do is line up the fabric exactly where I want it. I hold it. I don't move anything else. I simply remove the pin and then grab that top layer and place it right back. That's one way to ensure that everything is still lined up because you haven't really been moving all the layers about. Another way is, instead of pins, is to use clips. Same idea. I will do one layer of fabric with the zipper first, clip it where I want to, so I know that the two edges are flush. If I come back with another fabric, again, I place it right where I want it, hold it on either side of the clip, don't move anything. I just open it and you see that the fabric fell right under it, and I chomp it back again. That way, again, I'm ensuring all three are matched up perfectly. Another one that is great for beginners, especially if you can't get the handle of pins or clips, is to use this wash away wonder tape. So the idea is, it's a 1/4 inch wide, the one that I use, and I place it right on the edge of that fabric. And it's repositionable, so do little by little. If you see that it's off in one spot, you can peel it up and do it again. Then I scratch the paper side of the tape with my nail, and then on one corner, pinch up the paper and peel off the paper. Now you revealed the actual tacky tape part. Because it's right up against the edge, I can take my zipper and again, little by little, push it down and kind of rub it so I make sure that it's making a good bond with that tape. You can see, genius little invention because it's not going anywhere. Now what I do is I don't typically go back and use another one of these, but if you especially have trouble with zippers, feel free to do it. This stuff can be a little pricey, and if you're doing long lengths of zippers, you're going to go through it pretty quickly. So you can do the wash away wonder tape for one section. When I have a piece of fabric that has either interfacing, batting, or something else that's making it a little bit sturdier or more rigid, I will typically use the wash away wonder tape on the flimsier side, usually a lining or something, that tends to move on me more. If this one had batting on it, it would not likely move too much on me because it has more weight. So it's going to be the edge that's going to be easier for me to maintain for sewing. Does that make sense? So I use the wash away wonder tape on the one that will likely move more on me. That way I only have to use one length of it per zipper application. Another option is to use maybe the tape on one side and then some type of a basting glue on the other. Before I got the wash away tape years and years ago, I would often just use the basting glue by simply rubbing a little bit on the zipper tape, placing my fabric right on it, and kind of again rubbing with my finger to make sure there's a good bond. Okay, if you do that, if you're not using a really good basting glue, you see that it's pretty held in place. If I rip it off, it's going to come off since it's just temporary, but it's good enough for me to have there, and then maybe to secure a little bit more with a couple of clips. Then you're ready to head over to the sewing machine, install your zipper foot, and move on with your zippered project. Alright, and that's it for this video tutorial. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about two popular kinds of zippers. These two are great for all types of handbag, organizers, wallets, and small zip pouch types of projects. If you haven't yet tackled zippers, definitely give them a try. I have a ton of different video tutorials showing you step by step how to apply them, how to use them, which ones you need, and of course exactly how to sew them with the zipper foot on your sewing machine. Now, if you like some of the organizers that you saw in this video, definitely stay tuned because I'm going to be back with yet another video as we get closer and closer to kicking off my 2018 Organizer of the Month Club. A lot of fun, super cute, and functional organizers coming your way. Thanks again for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, hit it with the thumbs up below, share it with your crafty friends, and remember, if you're not yet subscribed to my email newsletter, head on over to craftygemini.com and enter your email address so you'll be the first to know of my upcoming projects. And before you go, don't forget to click the subscribe button on your way out. That way you make sure you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Thanks again for watching, and I will be back soon with another video tutorial.